In the stark, unforgiving landscape of self-improvement, a common misconception casts a long shadow. That discipline is an inherent torment, a constant battle against our deepest desires. But the truth, often obscured by our immediate discomfort, is far simpler. We avoid difficulty not because it is intrinsically painful, but because our minds and bodies are untrained. Like an athlete who shies away from the weight room, or a musician who avoids scales, we recoil from the unfamiliar strain, mistaking the sensation of growth for an unbearable burden. This initial resistance is not a sign of weakness, but merely a signal that new pathways are being forged, new muscles awakened. Observe him now, caught in the mundane rituals of avoidance. The alarm blares, a siren call to action, yet his body remains rooted, heavy with inertia. The simple act of rising early feels like an insurmountable challenge, a Herculean feat. He sits before his work, mind-wandering, focus elusive, each task a mountain he cannot quite scale. The gym, a place of potential, becomes a monument to his procrastination. These aren't grand failures, but a series of small surrenders to comfort, each one reinforcing the illusion that these basic demands are too hard, too demanding for his current state, visually. He is bound, heavy, unseen chains wrap around his limbs, each link forged by past indulgence, a missed opportunity, a whispered excuse. These aren't literal shackles, but the psychological weight of his own untrained habits, making every step towards progress feel like dragging an immense burden. The chains clink and groan with every attempt to move, a constant reminder of the effort required. They represent the mental and physical resistance, the deep-seated patterns that scream for the familiar, the easy, the comfortable. The path to freedom feels impossibly steep, paved with the very discomfort he seeks to avoid. The journey is not linear. He tries, he falters, he falls. The chains tighten, the burden grows heavier with each perceived failure. He wakes early one day, only to sleep in for 3. He starts a project with enthusiasm, only to abandon it when the initial spark fades. Doubt, a venomous whisper, tells him he's not cut out for this, that discipline is for others, for the naturally strong. These repeated setbacks are not proof of his inadequacy, but a crucial part of the training process. Each stumble a lesson, each fall an opportunity to learn how to rise again, stronger and more determined. Yet, amidst the struggle, a subtle shift begins, a small victory, a moment of sustained effort, a task completed despite the resistance. The chains, once impossibly heavy, feel infinitesimally lighter. The clinking is less deafening, the drag less severe. He notices a fleeting sense of accomplishment, a quiet pride in pushing through. The discomfort, these are the first faint glimmers of progress, the initial signs that his mind and body are beginning to adapt, to strengthen, to respond to the consistent demand. The pain is still there, but it is no longer overwhelming. It is becoming manageable. With each consistent effort, the visual metaphor of the chains evolves. They are no longer heavy, dark iron, but begin to shimmer, to thin, to become less substantial. The resistance is still present, but it is no longer a crushing weight. It is a gentle tug, a familiar sensation that no longer paralyzes. He finds himself waking earlier with less internal debate, focusing for longer periods with fewer distractions. The initial agony of discipline transforms into a dull ache, then a mere awareness, and finally, a sense of invigorating challenge. The path is still demanding, but he is no longer fighting against himself. The transformation accelerates. The chains are gone, replaced by a sense of effortless momentum. Discipline is no longer a struggle, but a natural flow, an ingrained rhythm. His mind is sharp, his body responsive. The tasks that once felt monumental are now approached with a quiet confidence, a practiced ease. He finds joy in the process, in the consistent application of effort, in the steady march towards his goals. The initial pain has dissolved, replaced by the satisfaction of mastery, the freedom that comes from self-control. He is no longer pushing against resistance, but moving with purpose. The transformation is complete. He stands tall, radiating an inner strength, a quiet power. The journey was not about finding an easier path, but about training himself to walk the difficult one with grace and resilience. The initial discomfort, the perceived pain, was merely the growing pains of an untrained self. Now, discipline is not a burden, but a liberation, a tool that unlocks his full potential. The final message echoes, not as a judgment, but as a profound truth. It was never hard. You were just untrained, and now you are ready.